Bueno.
Hello, Armando.
Oh, yeah.
This is Ray again.
Okay.
And it's really great to have established contact with you again. And so how did it all start? How did Los Dug Dugs first get together?
I told you in the letter I sent that we got together in this town where I was born, Durango. When I was at school, I started playing over there. I must have been around 15 years old. Just about. Yeah. 15, 16, just about. And we made a band, you know. These guys invited me to a band, and at the end, the band became mine. You know what I mean?
So it was another leader, and then you took over the band.
Right. Yeah. I didn't want to do that. I mean, but it had just happened. You know, I was the one who was putting more attention to it. I liked it more, and I was the one who studied and stuff like that. You know, rehearse and everything, and that's why I got to be the leader. In a way, yeah. It wasn't the Duke's name though.
No, what was it called back then?
It was a funny name. It's Sipos Rock. I really don't know what it means, but they told me when I first got in the group that this was a Greek name, which means like gentleman, something like that.
How did it spell?
Xippos.
Oh, Zippos, it looks like.
Zippos Rock.
So when did you start? Around what year did the band become yours?
It must be around 63. But I started playing like a game, you know, like a hobby. Like I liked a lot the guitar, you know. I used to, when I got a guitar from my father bought me. I played it all the time. I mean, I not really play because I didn't know how to play, but it was so much that I had the guitar in my hands that I guess I learned it. You know what I mean? Looking at books and stuff like that. I never studied.
So you taught yourself, in other words.
Yeah, right. I never studied like solfeo or whatever. You know, I never studied music at all.
What year did you start playing guitar? How old were you when you first picked up a guitar, when you got your first guitar?
I must have been around 16. Yeah, between 15 and 16.
So you got your guitar, you learned the basics, and you joined this band, and...
I was playing not lead guitar, but I was playing like the other guitar, second guitar. How do you call it? Harmony?
Rhythm guitar, I think.
Rhythm guitar, that's what it is. Rhythm guitar. So,
how did you guys get discovered as far as...
we discovered ourselves, I guess. What happened is that from Durango, I must have been around 17 years old when I left Durango and I went to Tijuana. And I went there, and that's why everybody thinks that I'm from Tijuana. I went and started playing in these nightclubs. I was studying in San Isidro, California. California, I was studying for English for just about 4 months, just about it. And in vacations, I decided to go and get the guys that were playing with me in Durango. So I brought them in a trip from Durango to Tijuana. It's a long way. It's around 3 days. But it took us about 2 weeks to get there. You know. Because we went into my father's car, and he's a salesman. So he used to go all the towns, little towns even, you know, and sell things, and so we were with him, you know.
Oh, so he was doing his salesman bit, and you were tagging along.
And we were trying to play in some place, whenever we could, you know.
Oh, so it was sort of a combination. You were touring, and your dad was doing the driving, and at the same time he was doing a salesman thing. That's interesting. Okay.
That's the way it goes. So in the middle of the road, we changed our names. In this city called Obregón, Ciudad Obregón, Sinaloa, no, Obregón, Sonora. I mean, we changed our names. I decided to change the name to something that had to be something with my town,
uh-huh.
My hometown. So we call them Duk-Duks, which is an abbreviation that I did.
Uh-huh. So you came up with your own abbreviation. It wasn't a commonly used abbreviation. It was your own. It was your own making. You just took.
Right.
Okay, that's good.
D-U-G-D-U-G-S.
You don't know how long I've been looking up the name in Spanish dictionaries, trying to figure out what the heck it meant.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean nothing really. But the city where I'm from, the city I was born, Durango, and the state too. It's a state too.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the road, we changed our names, and then we got to Tijuana. We started playing in these nightclubs. We were playing with straples,
Uh-huh.
And we were watching all these, and then playing for them to dance and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And they take their clothes off, striptease and stuff like that. And God, it was.
Oh, you were playing strip bars, and you were a little.
For me, it was too much because we weren't used to it. Do you know what I mean?
It was. You were in your adolescence and approaching puberty as
right,
and getting your first taste of sex.
It was nice, but I was shocked,
Yeah.
But I never. I only saw those things on the movies, especially since I'm, from this town which is not too advanced. You know what I mean? They don't have as much as nightclubs and stuff like that,
So you guys are in Tijuana and you're playing the strip bars, and then eventually what happened from there?
And then they hire us for another nightclub, which they play only rock and roll music, because we were so good that they called us there to the another nightclub. It was in front of this place called Sanssouci. That's where we played in Tijuana. And then we moved to Sanssouci to this place called the Mike's Bar. And then from there, as fast as we almost got there, we learned some songs. I decided to come to Mexico with the group. There was a few changes. We sent some guys to my hometown, some of the people that used to play with us, because they weren't able to stay with us. So two of them left back to their town, and we got another two guys, which they were from Durango too. One of them was from Durango. So we came to Mexico in about a year and a half. About a year and a half. Fast, real fast. We played there. We came to Mexico. We wanted to make it big,
Yeah, of course.
We were looking for some fortune, like we were looking for fortune. Well, not really. We were young and we were trying to do something. We were ambitious in a way.
Of course, yeah. That's a good thing. Yeah, that's very good.
So since I got here, everybody liked us. Mexico City. We got here in around 1966. So I think my career really starts from 1966 because. I really consider that my playing before was kind of a hobby, like. You know what I mean?
And then it became a profession. Yeah. I'm a musician myself, so I know all the ins and outs of that fine line between it being a hobby and it being a career. I'm very well versed in the whole picture of that. So.
Even when I was playing. In Tijuana, I was studying still English, trying to do something else, I worked a lot to buy my first guitar, I was doing the same thing of my father, so I could buy my first guitar, which was a Tesco guitar. Do you know the Tesco?
I think I've heard of Tesco guitars.
What?
I think I've heard of Tesco guitars.
Yeah, that was an old one.
I know quite a bit about guitars, so.
That was an old one, really old. And it was new when I bought it. It cost me around $100, $100. But then I bought a Mustang.
Fender Mustang, yeah.
Yeah, that was nice at that time. And then I decided to buy another one. I bought SG Gibson, which I still have with me. Is that old one?
Is that the one that you're playing on the cover of El Loco?
Right. I covered silver. I did it myself.
Yeah.
So I have now a collection of guitars.
Oh, that's good. So you got a little bit of everything you played.
Yeah, I got two Flying Bs. I got a Stratocaster like Eric Clapton's got, the red one. I got, let me see, Charvel Jackson guitar, like a Telecaster type. Oh, I got a Explorer, Explorer, an '82 Explorer.
Boy.
But the two Flying Beasts that I have, they're 60s. You know, they're around 62 or 60, something like that.
Yeah, that's the great thing, having the vintage guitars, the old ones.
One like Jimi Hendrix had.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
Jimi Hendrix, yeah. When did you guys start making records?
So, around 67. We did few covers that they made us do, you know, and
any songs in particular?
RCA.
Which songs? You got signed to RCA, like, pretty much right away?
About a year after we got here, we did our first, first single. It was a single, the little ones. I think we recorded at the first time. We did covers. Well, one was an original, but it was from a TV show from here in Mexico, called Chicotito, Si Chicotito No.
So how did you guys end up being in the movies?
Okay, we got here and we were popular, but not because of the records. We were popular because we used to play songs that nobody played here in Mexico. See, we were way back about 15 years behind the United States in music. Even in Mexico, even in the radios in Mexico, they didn't play the Beatles stuff, or Jimi Hendrix or The Doors. You know?
From what I've read about rock and roll in Mexico, it didn't really get started till about 1959, 1960. Am I correct?
Yeah, but they had all these groups did covers, you know, in Spanish.
Spanish.
Little Richard, they did it in Spanish.
Yeah, I have a few of those records actually.
They never did originals, really. We were the ones who started doing originals here in Mexico.
You were the first?
We were the first ones to do originals, even in English, you know. And then in Spanish, we started doing it too. That's what we recorded the first one in English because we wanted to become, you know, international. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We wanted the words and all us, but we didn't find the right persons that could. You know, took us there. Hey, listen, I have something to tell you before I tell you that, because I was living in New Jersey. I was living in New York.
Yeah?
This guy went to Tijuana one time, and we were playing we went from Mexico to Tijuana again, and played in a nightclub for about a few months. These guys got into the nightclub, and when they got there and saw us, they went crazy about us, you know. This guy called Stu and this guy called Frank Mangano. He lives in New Jersey.
Really?
He's got a hobby store. And then he was our manager. He took us to New York. They dressed us. They took us to a hotel. We were recording in a not in a company, but in a studio in New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were there for about a year and a half. But what happened? We were playing even there. In some swimming pools and stuff like that, you know. But what happens is he didn't have the money. Well, he had the money. He spent a lot of money taking us there and playing and buying instruments for us. But he didn't want to give. He wanted to do everything right. And the union in New York asked him for $5,000 so we could play in the nightclubs. And he didn't want to give it to them.
Yeah.
It was a mistake.
Yeah.
Because he said he wanted to do everything right and perfect and stuff like that, and everything by the law, you know.
So what year were you in New York then? What
in 68.
68.
See.
Yeah.
We were there. I was living in Brooklyn Heights.
Oh, really?
There was a hotel called the Margaret Hotel, which is in front of Manhattan, right where you walk. You know where there's a sidewalk where you can walk with, you know, there's seats over there. You can see Manhattan from there. You know there?
Oh, yeah, I know Brooklyn Heights. Yeah, you can hang out on it's called the East River. And the East River is what separates Manhattan from Brooklyn and Queens.
We could see could see Manhattan from there, and the river and everything.
Yeah.
And how do you call the bridges? You know. I even did a song about it a long time ago. And what I recorded, first we recorded with the group 2 songs. And then I recorded by myself 4 songs because I went back because the group broke up, the original group. I couldn't say the original then. But the group that we had at that time broke up, so they took me back there again. And I was recording. I did 2 recordings, private recordings in a private studio.
In New York?
And in Spanish and English. One of my songs that I wrote, one song that I wrote over there when I was with the group called "The Teardrops in the Sky." One day that I was there and it was raining and stuff like that, and I just did that song over there.
So you guys were the first band doing originals in Mexico.
Yeah.
And that's how you, basically, that's why you were popular in the beginning there.
Well, not really, because we were doing originals, because they didn't put attention too much to what we did in originals. Except for the first 2 ones that we used to play a lot. World of Love and which one is the other one? Eclipse. Eclipse.
Eclipse.
Which, which is on the first album.
On the first album, yeah. I know that.
And we were popular because we could copy the Beatles so well that they can even do it at that time. They didn't even. It got to the Beatles' ears that there was a group in Mexico that could play better than them the songs, because we did it with. I used to play the organ in that time in the guitar. And is
that you on keyboards on the records, or is that somebody else?
I played all the keyboards on the records.
Oh, so that is you.
Yeah, it's me and the guitar.
Because I noticed on that on the Lost in My World record there's keyboards, and then on the Smog album there's hardly any. The Smog album is more guitar based.
Oh yeah, right. But you in the 4th album, which is a loco, with the one you have, there's keyboards there. That's even synthesizers over there.
Oh yeah.
I did that.
That's
Also, we came popular because we were playing a lot of stuff. You know that nobody played in here, and nobody knew even. We made the Beatles popular in Mexico. Actually, we did it.
So you were the ones that picked up on the Beatles stuff, and you were the ones who were doing the Beatles covers, and you were doing them in English?
Yeah, right. Oh, obviously. Right. And since they didn't know the Beatles, we started to make them popular here in Mexico. I have to say this, if it wasn't because of us, not because they weren't, otherwise I think they would be popular anyway, but I mean, they were faster. They got into Mexico faster because of us, because we used to play, and nobody knew the songs. Nobody knew who the Beatles were.
Yeah, there was no Ed Sullivan show appearance. Like
right.
There was no big British invasion, things like that. Yeah.
And since they started to know about the Beatles, we used to get the records. Some girls used to send us the records from San Diego to Mexico, and we used to learn them right away and then play them before they used to play in the radio, you know? Before they play on the radio.
So you got the records brought into you from America.
Yeah.
And you did the cover versions, and
yeah, right.
And people came up to you and said, "Wow, these songs are really great." And
yeah, who are they from? You know what I mean?
Oh,
they were the Beatles and stuff like that, or the Rolling Stones, or the Doors, or when we used to play "Light My Fire," everybody, God, they didn't know what was going on because they didn't know who. They thought that "Light My Fire" was ours.
And the interesting thing, I mean, you know,
yeah, because
we were doing that far away from you guys, because
right, and we were doing the long version of "Light My Fire." I used to play the keyboards in that time.
Oh, wow!
The two, the guitar and the keyboards, but I used to play like the solo, whatever. Yeah.
Wow, and it's pretty interesting because, you know, the Doors were, you know, Los Angeles, Southern California, so they weren't that far away from Mexico. But it's amazing, you know, just that whole barrier between America and Mexico. It's just amazing.
See, what happens is that right now we have everything, like internet and computers and
everything,
cellulars and the satellites. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now we get the sounds and the image, you know, fast from TVs and stuff like that. Before we didn't have all that. Even the radios, the radios, the people from the radio got the records real late, after a few months. 5, 6 months late. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. So how did you guys end up in those movies that you were in?
Okay. You're curious about that.
This is probably like the third time I've asked this, but hey, it's great. Keep going.
See, after they started know us, not because of the records, because the records never sound on the radio, ours, the first records. Everybody knew the Duk Duks, or knew us because of our playing, really. It's so strange because we never were popular because of the records. I'm really well known in Mexico City, and they come to see me here, not the group, they come to see me. Because I've lasted for so long, 30 years playing, 31 years playing. And the people that saw me playing in that time, in 1967, 68, comes to see me play, and right now a lot of people knows me. I've got a lot of how do you say, generations saw me. First playing covers, like the Beatles and stuff like that, and all, the Rolling Stones and a bunch of groups. And then I started doing all originals for about 20 years, playing originals. But nothing even really happened with those originals.
Really?
Nothing.
You guys made all these records, and they didn't make you superstars pretty much? All these?
No. That was strange. It's going to sound strange, but nothing really happened with our records. Even the groups that are popular right now in Mexico, they know about us, but they don't mention anything of us because they're jealous, because our music is best than what they're doing right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so strange because it's kind of it's jealousy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see.
A lot of jealousy between the groups and stuff like that. So a lot of people know that we are the basis of rock and roll in Mexico. They know. Even people on TV. We are still on TV programs. We were about 3 months on this show called. What's the name of it? Wait a minute. It's called... let me see. I don't remember what's the name of this TV show. Well, I'll remember later.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
And actually, we are on TV like few times a year. Because the people from TV, some people that have their shows, they know that we are important for the people, and they call us. But we are not really like you may think that we are, I wish. It's the popular or superstars or whatever, They tell me that I'm the leyenda viviente, which means I'm a living legend.
Living legend, yeah.
Everybody tells me that, Because I'm from all the used to play in the group and all that, and all the other groups I used to play in that time. I'm hardly the only one left. Me and this guy playing in El Tri, which you must have heard of them.
Oh yeah, I've heard of El Tri. There's plenty of stuff on the web and everywhere about El Tri, but hardly anything about Los Dug Dugs.
Right. So because they're really popular right now. See, when I desire to change companies from RCA, I wanted to keep recording, but they didn't want to. They didn't want to have me there because they said, "Well, if we have you here, we're gonna freeze you." They have freeze when they don't do anything with you, and they sign you and they don't do anything with you.
They just put you in the back. They don't promote
you.
Right,
and this guy friend of mine said, I better give you the letter, and I won't ask them that if I won't ask him anything, the ones, the managers of the RCA, I just give the letter saying that I decided to do it. So you can look for another company. Okay? So they give me the letter, but no company was interested in us. I mean, wasn't that what we were doing? Because we were doing a different thing than what everybody was doing. And we didn't want to do what everybody was doing. That's why these records are like for collectors.
Collector's items.
Collector's items.
That's what we call them.
And really not for the common people, I should say.
Yeah.
Well,
it's pretty hard to find a lot of Mexican records. I mean, there's plenty of other groups, even El Tri around here. It's not easy.
Well, El Tri, there are a lot because they got a company that keep recording them. You know what I mean? So they keep doing it. So they kept having one record a year at least. So one thing, if you don't do every little while record, if we were doing that, we would be popular like them too. You know what I mean? But what happens? They didn't put attention to us. They didn't think that our music was interesting.
So how many records did you record for RCA?
5 records.
5 records?
The ones I think you know about.
I know. So all 5 of those. So the ones that I know about, that's pretty much those 5 records. That first one.
Yeah.
Smog. Cambia.
Cambia.
El Loco. Abre
Yeah, but before that there was a 15 Éxitos.
Oh yeah, that one. So that one came first, and then they put out Abre Tu Mente. So what was Abre Tu Mente? Just basically whatever they had left?
Just one thing strange about Abre Tu Mente. RCA didn't release that. I mean, RCA released it, but I bought the records myself. They didn't want to take the record out. So what I did, I bought 2,000 records.
You put the money up for...
I put the money up for them, yeah, so the records come out. So I had to be selling them, here and there and everywhere. I still have few records of those.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, originals. This guy came and bought from me around 1,000, just about 1,000, I think, that I had kept in there. And he bought them from me, and I think he took them to the States.
So, who's basically, you guys started singing in English? Was it because the record company was saying that you had to do things in English, or was it
because we wanted to become popular in the States and the world.
I see.
That's why we did it.
So that was.
And besides, in that time we didn't believe in making in Spanish, rock and roll in Spanish. I didn't believe it. I refused to do it. And I didn't want to do it. But when I got into the studio to do the second album, The Smog, I started doing it and recording it in English. That's why we have 2 versions, in Spanish and English. And then, in the middle of the record, I decided to quit, to stop the recording and go and lock myself in the house for 15 days and did everything in Spanish. From there, I started doing it in Spanish.
Oh, I see. So
I was recording it. I was recording in English, Smog. I was doing, this song, and then I said, it would be nice to do it in Spanish. So when I said, well, we're gonna stop recording in the studio. I don't want it anymore. So I said everything.
So you moved it over to your house?
No, I didn't move the studio. So I went myself into my house, locked myself into my studio in my house where I used to live, and I did everything in Spanish. The 10 songs that were there, I did in Spanish because they were in English. So
you had all the tracks recorded already?
Only 3 tracks. We had a Smog. We had, let me see which one. Yo no sé. ¿Cuál es tu nombre?
¿Cuál es tu nombre? Oh yeah, that's too.
It's what is your name? We did it in English. So that's a track kept on the record company, which is in English. It never came out. We did around 4 or 5 songs in English. That's when I decided to change everything in Spanish, and I went by myself. I got myself in my house. I locked myself in a room where I used to do all my arrangements and everything. And I did everything in Spanish. In 15 days, I went back to the studio and did everything in Spanish. The whole album.
Oh, so you locked yourself in your place. You wrote all the Spanish stuff, and then you went back and you finished it.
Right.
Okay, I got you.
Finished it. But I finished it in Spanish. Not in English. And then we did the third album, which in Spanish too. Well, you were right. Where you know, the way you think it came out. It is kind of poppy because we did it poppy in a purpose. Because we wanted to get some of those songs on the radio.
So it was your bid for commercial success, as we say here.
Well, we try to do a few songs, so and a lot of songs sounded on the radio. Not in Mexico City though. It's strange because they sounded on the north of the Republic of Mexico. You know, La Paz. Ciudad Obregón, Mazatlán, Guadalajara, and all the Pacific, you know, Tijuana, and all these places. It became popular, but never in Mexico. They never played records in Mexico of us. Mexico City.
So you got airplay outside of Mexico City, but you had trouble getting airplay inside of Mexico City.
See, we had a big concert in Mexico around 1971, which called La Banda. I don't know if you heard of it.
Oh, I had meant to ask you about that, yeah.
Okay, we opened the concert. We only played originals in that concert. What happens is after that, the government stopped all the concerts, stopped all the planes, you know, rock and roll planes and whatever we used to play. And then we started playing in this place called Hoyos Funkies. Hoyos Funkies. So we were playing in those places, and those Hoyos Funkies were in places where the police didn't find us. We were playing in a garage, you know.
Private
in houses that were just building.
So in other words, you couldn't play in public anymore because of the government. So
because of the government,
you started having your own private gigs.
Yeah,
I see.
They hire us to play in those gigs, you know. And we had to play in those places. And then we decided to go out of Mexico because we weren't making any money. We decided to get out. So we went to the Pacific from Guadalajara and play and take our records over there. And they used to. That's why they started playing it. The festival of Avándaro was a taboo in Mexico. You know what I mean? We couldn't even talk about Avándaro.
Really?
We couldn't even say a word about Avándaro on the radio, on TV, or whatever, because otherwise they would get a ticket. And they would close the radio stations.
Good.
After that, it was hard for us. We kept recording, but it was hard to play in places. So we had to find a way to feed ourselves, you know what I mean? So we went to Tijuana and a lot of places and play, even in little towns. You'd be surprised because we were playing in little towns where they didn't have hotels. We used to sleep in the van. We used to carry the equipment and everything, you know. Wherever we could, we went to live there. And then the next day we drove to another city or another little town and play. We were like that, tours. You know?
Yeah.
We were the first ones who did those tours. And you know what happened to the disco? Came out from 72 ahead.
Yeah.
So what happened is that they didn't play more rock and roll music, and not even the radios. They only play disco music. You know. So it was hard. It was hard. It's still hard.
Yeah.
It is still hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? One thing is true. In the States, rock and roll is rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they keep doing it, and it still sounds a lot on the radio, and they have big hits of it. You know what I mean?
Well, you've got the Rolling Stones doing their
Rollins,
10 billionth tour.
The Scorpions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The old ones are the ones that are really popular.
And Carlos Santana, of course, is really
right. It's big.
He's huge.
Like you, I have something to say about that. You know, you guys make gods of these people. Eric Clapton and all these, you know what I mean? Here they have a war for us, which sounds, it doesn't sound like you guys talk about this. That's why I feel so nice when you say that you found these gods, Mexican gods, you know, rock and roll gods, which was nice. I mean, I feel so nice. It feels so good because here they don't treat us like that.
They just basically you're just...
They call us like dinosaurs.
Really?
Which sounds kind of despective.
Yeah. Well, there are certain people over here who call the Rolling Stones dinosaurs, but we'll forget about them.
Right.
To me, Los Dug Dugs aren't dinosaurs. To me, Los Dug Dugs are rock and roll. They're real, and I love their music, and that's basically all there is to it. And it all comes from the heart.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, because what I've done, it comes from the heart too. And I really appreciate what you put in.
These days there aren't a lot of people doing it from the heart anymore. I mean, you got the Rolling Stones still around, but they've got so much money that they could retire, tomorrow and be set for the rest of their lives. And meanwhile, there's bands like you who, wish you could have a taste of that and never got it.
Right. I always said that just give me a chance to play in the States. Even right now, I don't care if I'm 51 years old. Mm-hmm. Just give me a chance to play in front of 5,000 or 10,000 people. Mm-hmm. I always say that. I'll make them dance and make them stand up. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I think I can do it.
Yeah.
But I haven't got never the chance. I never have got the chance to do it.
Uh-huh.
It's been hard.
Yeah.
It's been hard. I'm not saying this because I don't mean to say that. I don't want you to think that I'm frustrated,
Uh-huh.
because I'm still doing what I want, playing rock and roll,
mm-hmm.
And I don't feel frustrated,
uh-huh.
It just feels sad that a lot of people, even in Mexico, came out and they become big rock and roll stars and stuff like that, mm-hmm. and they didn't even fight half of what we did.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, exactly.
They didn't even do half of what we did.
Yeah.
There's another group called Maná, which is very popular right now, and they play like the Police, exactly the Police.
Uh-huh.
It's a lot. They copy a lot to another groups.
They don't try and do something original like you guys did.
Right. They sound like some American groups, or they even sound like some South American groups.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
There's another band here that sounds like another South American group.
Well, that's basically what music is like today. Everybody trying to sound like everybody else.
Right.
And
I don't
not sounding as good as the originals.
Right. Uh-huh. And if you notice something in my music, nothing is like a song is not like the other one.
Yeah, that's the great thing. That's another point that I wanted to make. Each of your albums is different. It's not like you made the same album over and over again and everything. There's a definite difference between an album like Smog and an album like Il Loco, or an album like Cambia Cambia, which is that's when you know a band is really good, when a band can pull off so many different styles of music and manage to do each style very well.
Right. Yeah, right. That's what I mean. I don't like to sound like in the. I did on the first record, and then the second sounds the same. You know what I mean? And and all my songs are very different. I only did 2 songs that look alike. I mean, they sound alike. Ones that I play right now, originals.
Uh-huh.
One is called El Rock Sigue Encadenado, which is, for me, it is like that. Rock and roll is still on chains. Mm-hmm. That's the name of it. El Rock Sigue Encadenado.
Uh-huh.
And this ballad that I did, which is called Historia de un Amor, a love story.
Uh-huh.
It's a love story, but it's mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my how do you say it? It's my life.
Yeah.
It's part of my life.
Uh-huh.
And I write things that I live, that I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I write. Everything that I write is things that I'm doing.
Exactly. You just write from the heart. You write about your life. You write about the things you know about.
Right.
And that makes for the most sincere things. That makes for the truest. That's the stuff that's most from the heart.
I was going to tell you something though. This CD we just did. We did it where this guy paid the studio. We got into studio, 4 groups of us, and this record is a CD that we did. We didn't do originals. I always wanted to do like some covers, but record them different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just recorded a few months. Came a CD out, which we were selling here in this nightclub where I'm playing, and these guys are selling it in the nightclubs where they play. And I did I Feel Good by James Brown.
Oh wow!
I did. It's really nice the way I recorded it.
I would love to hear that. I love James Brown.
I did Born to Be Wild.
Steppenwolf, yeah.
I did Wild Thing, which is beautiful. It came out beautiful with the flute, you know.
You like a lot of the same stuff that I like. A lot of the covers that you've mentioned are songs that I totally love. So.
And let me see which other one. You know this song called The Midnight Hour?
Yeah.
Wilson Pickett.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Wilson Pickett lives right here in New Jersey.
Oh, really?
He lives in a town called Englewood.
Oh. Anyway, thank you for calling. I really appreciate your phone call.
I appreciate this big time. This is a dream come true for me. I never thought this would happen. This is great. And muchas gracias. Feliz Navidad.
No, the same to you. Yeah. No, even I'm surprised at how everything came out. I mean, after looking and you know, in the internet and your website and all that.
I figured at the very least people were going to fill me in on parts of the story that I didn't know, but I never thought that you yourself were going to step in and this is great. This is great.
It's great for me too. I mean, it's how the story goes. You know what I mean? How it comes to find me, which is nice.
Yeah.
And I feel
it's just being at the right place at the right time, I guess, pretty much.
Right.
So,
okay.
This is great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.